Howard, I'm so glad I saved your number. My husband fell at a construction site and is in critical condition. I knew it wasn't safe.
I'm very sorry to hear that. I just want to let you know I'm here to help. Yeah, tell me more about it. Work injuries not only affect the victim, but also everyone around them. Inc. Law is Chicago-based and here to advocate on your behalf. With over 100 attorneys and staff, if you or someone you know has questions about a work injury, call 312-6-million. Injury law made personal. That's Inc. Law.
Join us now on the Sox Machine Podcast to talk about fan behavior, the do's, the don'ts, and the don't sweats. Is CBS writer Matt Snyder. And Matt, thank you so much for joining the Sox Machine Podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's funny. I think like 3 or 4 years ago when I started the column, I would said a few times, like, I'll never tell people how to be a fan, or I would even use fan as a verb. Like, I'll never tell you how to fan. That was complete nonsense. I was so tell people how to fan all the time. So let's get into it. Let's tell them how to do it.
Let's start with the White Sox as a team. Tough series they're going through against New York. The Yankees look really strong, even without Aaron Judge. In your latest power rankings, you had the White Sox number 7. Are you a believer in this White Sox team?
Yes, and a little bit, I guess. I might be. I think James is your resident pessimist, but he would say probably a real. I always find pessimists always say they're realists, right? But
yeah,
be more the pessimistic one. You can see where stuff might arise down the line, especially with the rotation, especially now that Davis Martin looks like there's a little bit of regression hitting, but it's still a very fun offense. It's exciting. It's feisty. You're going to get Murakami back, obviously. So when you have both Montgomerys firing, you get Murakami back. I still think Miguel Vargas is one of the most underrated players in baseball. You've got a good lineup, and like, you haven't even been full go all season. I mean, Kyle Teal was hurt at the start of the season. Now Murakami, you just brought up Braden Montgomery. Like, it feels like late in the season, it could be one of the better offenses in all of baseball. But again, pitching staff concerns. Also, the home and road splits are starting to get pretty worrisome. Like, you saw that tough stretch of the schedule coming up where it was Phillies, Braves, Dodgers, Yankees. Now it's going to be a real test and everything. And you go, was it 4-1 at home against the Braves and Dodgers because they had the rain out in there? But 2 of 3 in Philadelphia. Got your teeth kicked in a couple times in the Bronx. Now it's like you look at that road record and it starts to become a legitimate concern here as we approach the halfway mark of the season. So fringe playoff contender, absolutely. Could they win the Central? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's not that great of a division. I don't think the Guardians are going to run away and hide or anything. If you asked me to bet on anybody, it would probably be the Guardians because of track record. But if you look at that wild card field right now, I've got the White Sox in it, so I think that they could be one of those teams that they make the playoffs and get bounced early in the playoffs. But then you look at next year, now you say, okay, now we're going to become a team that can make a deep playoff run.
And so with that, with you being a believer, the White Sox could make the postseason. For a fan base that has sat through over 300 losses the last 3 years, this is unexpected, and it's generated a lot of excitement. The fact that they do play so well at home is worthwhile for White Sox fans all over the Chicagoland area, even into Northwest Indiana, to come see them play. And some of those fans sat out the last 3 years, and I don't blame them, Matt. I don't blame them missing out on the Pedro Grifol era. But in one of your latest columns about the concept of fan gatekeeping, you mentioned like the New York Knicks, which as we record this is celebrating their championship with their parade. Levels different. They have different levels of celebrity fans. And you wrote about your own personal experience being a Cubs fan when they won the World Series in 2016. So this whole concept of fan gatekeeping, how do White Sox fans avoid this type of behavior?
Just be accepting to everyone, I guess, is my please go with the more the merrier attitude, because when you have a full ballpark, it's louder, it's much more fun. Is everybody there as much of a diehard fan as you? No, absolutely not. I mean, people watching this podcast right now are probably the most diehard fans who sat through all those losses. You know deep down that you are more of a fan. You're more intense. You care a lot more. your highs are going to be a lot higher, man. I mean, I think that, and the funny thing is when I write these columns, a lot of times ultimately I'm getting back at myself from when I was like in my early 20s because I go back to the 2003 Cubs and the NLCS, the crushing loss and everything. I feel like at the time, if the Cubs won the World Series, I would have been those guys looking around the rest of the people at the parade and saying, "Where were you guys in 1987? I watched every game. Where were you guys? Come on, that's no way to live, first of all. But second of all, you're not required to have credentials to be happy as a fan. And I guess to draw more on personal experience, for example, my wife is a diehard Indiana Fever fan. I
Okay.
like when she's happy. I'll watch the games with her. I get into them. By no means am I acting like I care as much as she does. If I go to the game with her and I cheer, by no means am I acting like I followed the Fever 4 years ago because I didn't. I'm not doing that. I think some of the people that try to fan gatekeep and quiz people, and the impetus for that column was I saw some Knicks people on social media saying like, "You're not a true Knicks fan if you can't name the 2005 starting lineup." Oh, get out of here with that. Give me a break, man. First of all, there's a lot of fans who weren't even alive then. Secondly, that's just no way to go through life, in my opinion. Like, if you care more and you can name the 2005 Knicks starting lineup, more power to you. I'm happy for you that you just won the championship and everything. That has to be so cool. And I will again go back to one of the reasons I don't get mad about fair weather fans anymore is if they don't go through the lows that we go through, they don't get the highs we get either. I mean, I was with my dad at the Pacers clinching the Eastern Conference Championship last year, and we hugged, and we never hugged, by the way. But right when they won it, we hugged and everything. And I thought back to all the bad Pacers teams, and it was like the lows, the true lows are what really make the highs worth it. That's why we go through all the crap. And I think I don't know if you follow football, but if you do, you're probably a Bears fan like me. Like last year was so cool because of the
Mhm.
lows we just went through. That's what made it so cool.
Yeah, I'm a 49ers fan, but we always
Oh,
joke,
okay.
hey, remember the
But
Tim
yeah,
Rattay years, the JT O'Sullivan
yeah.
years? Yeah, every diehard fan base has those really bad years. So for White Sox fans, I agree with you, man. Like I think that's why so many of us are excited because we did sit through 121 losses not that long ago. So that's why it's like this is unexpected, and it's been a lot of fun to watch the team
you're
day
gonna
in, day
you're
out.
gonna get you're gonna get the Johnny come latelys or the people who went away. Like
Yeah.
were probably there for the 2021 playoff run, and then they went away and they didn't watch any games. But now they looked at the standings in not gonna say the newspaper, online somewhere probably, and now they're back. And some of the people who sat through, like you, all the 121 losses, some of those people will get offended by it, and that's where I would just say life's too short, man.
Now, do levels of gatekeeping change if your team is more popular nationally? Like the difference between like Knicks, Cubs,
Probably.
and then the White Sox.
Probably. I mean, I will say this. I almost never, ever, ever wear Cub stuff when I travel because I don't want to run into, first of all, Cubs fans from like Arizona or Colorado. Hey, Cubs, go, Cubs, go. I don't want to deal with that. But secondly, you also, what comes with that is the hate. Then
Yep.
you get the
There's
people who
always one.
fight with you. And like, I had a PCA jersey on yesterday, and I was like, I'm not leaving the house with this. I don't need to encounter anybody who wants to pick a fight about PCA. I don't want to deal with that. So, and like my Bears fandom, a Caleb Williams jersey, I'll wear that to the games. But even then, like last year, my dad and I were walking back after we went to that Browns game that was like 17 below zero. And there were fellow Bears fans talking to us, and they were still like, "Hey, what color is he going to paint his fingernails next week?" Like, uh,
Yeah.
again, life's too short. You don't need to deal with that. So I think that yes, Yankees, Cubs, Red Sox, Dodgers, it's probably worse, right? Like the true diehard fans are probably sensitive to how many people across the country will definitely bandwagon the team when they get good. So yeah, it's probably worse then.
Well, what was fascinating to me with the NBA Finals this year was San Antonio doesn't have a lot of celebrity fans. I think
No,
is Selena Gomez a San Antonio Spurs fan? That might be
no
their
idea.
most popular. But the New
Well,
York
even in San
Knicks,
Antonio, when they showed the fan shots, it was all like Knicks fans.
yeah, exactly. And for the Cubs, you get a little bit of that, like John
Yeah.
Cusack when he shows up at Wrigley, Eddie Vedder, Jeremy Allen White, of course, of the Bear fame. I wonder, like, the Pope's not going to show up anytime soon. I don't know. Barack Obama's going to show up to a White Sox
Probably
game.
not.
Chance the Rapper maybe will throw out a first pitch. But if we do start seeing more Chicago quote unquote celebrities showing up at right field, is it okay for White Sox fans to feel a little jaded?
In my opinion, no. I
Okay.
think the more the merrier. And if it looks like they're becoming a big deal, then you get more and more people joining in. Um, I guess the counter argument to that would be if it becomes such a hot ticket that the true diehard fans get priced out, then that's a
Yeah.
problem. So I guess that would be the thread to pull on if you disagree with me. But I think if you make it sound like a cool event, all the better. And then maybe that even snowballs, and in future years, it's easier to land free agents because you become that big of a deal.
No, that is a good point. Scout tickets are not cheap. Even though if the White Sox were bad, they were still in the hundreds of dollars. They could sit there. That's fine. They could always be on camera. Now at Sox Machine, we've covered the White Sox a long time, so we have a lot of scars and wounds covering
Yeah.
this team. Is it okay to like flip the script for diehards to decide, Matt, at this point of the season, you know what? I am going to erase everything that has happened the last 4 years and start on a clean slate. Is that okay to do as a fan?
This is going to be an aspect where I pivot back to say I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. If if you're good with it and you want to be optimistic and you want to get into it, yes, by all means, that's great. I mean, I'll go back to the Bears thing. Like once the Bears started winning games and got good, I wasn't jaded at all about any of the past. I was just enjoying the ride. And I would say enjoying the ride, that's the whole reason to be a sports fan is when the good is happening to enjoy yourself and not be bitter about anything that just happened. But I can understand why there would be some people who would still be angry at ownership, as well they should be for decades of crap, and would still be kind of guarded, as I found out with what I thought was a harmless tweet over the weekend about the front office and Chris Getz and everything. So I can understand it. I can understand it, and I wouldn't push back on any of that. I'm always going to be a glass half full guy. And when the team's going well, I just want to be happy. And I would urge more people to take that route. But I truly would understand if there are any feelings of lingering bitterness, and especially toward ownership. I'm never going to discourage that. In fact, I would encourage being happy about the team, but still bitter at ownership.
Yeah, because I bring this point up because I think we all are going to go through this fans, media, players, even personnel in the organization when the organization changes hands from Jerry Reinsdorf to Justin Ishbia. That feels like in a sports fandom, when you do have that change of ownership, does it make sense to kind of like, all right, we got to forget the past because everything could really change and it's a brand new day for everyone involved?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, as I said in the column, and you mentioned you carry scar tissue as sports fans always, and that's what makes the highs so high. But when there's reason to turn the page, take it. By all means, take it and say it's a clean slate because it is in a way. So I would always encourage to be optimistic and hope that the new owner brings change. You might see a situation like the Mets where you get Cohen in there and he starts spending his butt off. Unfortunately for them, it hasn't worked out, so it
Right.
can always backfire. But I would take the optimistic approach and just hold out hope that, hey, maybe the stadium situation ends up great. Maybe we start spending on free agents like we know a team in Chicago should be capable of doing. Yes, I would be optimistic.
Yeah, for podcast listeners, especially those from Indiana, my wife went to Indiana University. So if you
Hey,
ever watch our videos, you could see the Indiana helmet
got that.
above my head. There's before Signetti and now after
Yeah.
Signetti in history of Indiana football. And
I
I
will
just,
say, when I was writing that column, one of the things that stuck in my head is I could have been that guy who was like, hey, my freshman year, I sat there and watched Tim Couch those 7 touchdown passes against us, and I stayed the whole game. Nobody cares. And plus, what a loser to sit there through all that instead of leaving at halftime and go to the tailgates and drink. I should have done that. That was stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, with fandoms, there's going to, especially for the White Sox fans, we're going to be entering a new era. So I think a lot of us will all have to go through that transition. Now, I agree with you mostly until I saw the All-Star game voting results for the first round. And now there's a part of me where it's like, what's going on with the White Sox? I just want to give everyone a big bear hug. Like, I'm with you. There's too much pain. This is excitement. Yes, come to Wright Field. Come visit us on Sox Machine every day. Start becoming a diehard fan. That's great for everyone involved. I want to gatekeep the All-Star vote because I did not know, Matt, Canada wields so much power when it comes to the MLB All-Star vote. Vlad Guerrero Jr. only has, first of all, Vlad Jr. only having 3 home runs and an OPS of 730 as we record this in mid-June is absolutely crazy. But he's got way more votes than Munetaka Murakami, and he's also leading Ben Rice of the New York Yankees. So not even Yankees fans could overcome what's happening from Canada. Is it okay to start gatekeeping the MLB All-Star vote?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is madness. So, okay, something happens when a team gets good for the first time in a long time. And while the Blue Jays have had several playoff teams, they lost in the first round of the playoffs every time. This time they got to Game 7 of the World Series, and there's an excitement around them. And then you see stuff like Alejandro Kirk, who's barely even played. He's been hurt all year. I think he's like second among catchers or something. He's right there. Everybody's in the mix. Every single guy is in the mix there. And it reminded me of a similar situation, the Royals in 2015, after they made the World Series in 2014 and 2015. Did they get every single, they got like, it was like everybody except Trout or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like Alcides Escobar started the All-Star game, for Pete's sake. What is that? That's ridiculous. So sometimes you'll see it kind of take over. And I remember at the time I wrote a column that said, like, I would be embarrassed if I were a Royals fan and Alcides Escobar was starting the All-Star game because of me going to vote 5 times every single day over and over and over. Same thing with the Blue Jays fans. Like, honestly, it's kind of embarrassing to take it over like that. And by all means, if I'm voting, be a homer if it's close. You know, like, and sorry to aggravate some of your fan base here, but if I'm voting for the National League outfield, I'm going to vote for PCA because it's close enough that I'm going to be a homer for my guys. But like, I'm not voting for Dansby Swanson. Are you kidding me? Get out of here. So that part is frustrating for sure. 100%. I agree with you there.
How would you change it? Because my wife brought up a good point. She's like, it could be like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame vote. Fans still vote who makes the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but it's just a percentage, or I think they get 1 vote out of all the total votes.
Maybe. And then, you know, it's, I know that people are always going to complain about BBWAA votes because, but if you gave us the vote, we would probably get it right. Like most of the MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year votes, if we miss it, it's really close. And it's like a guy came in 3rd when he should have come in 4th or something like that. And I know, again, there's a lot of hair splitting about the Hall of Fame, but it's awfully hard to get 75% of people to agree on anything in this world. Yeah. We generally agree on a lot. And I think if you put it in the hands of the BBWA, we would probably get it right.
Okay. Well, now that's interesting.
Now, here's the thing, though. I don't want to do that because it's an event for the fans and you like the fans to have a voice. And I think that if you put it totally in the media's fans, there would be a lot of people who would be turned off and would stop watching. So that's why you can't do that. And by no means am I acting like we know more than the average diehard fan. We don't. We know just the same as the average diehard fan. The issue you're talking about isn't diehard fans, though. It's a bunch of people who just got excited about the Blue Jays last year and wanted to vote for them this year.
Yeah, the popularity contest. White Sox fans, we need Japan. Like Japan, you guys got to step up and help out your guy Murakami. Get in that top 2.
That was you who said that on. Yeah, I knew somebody said that on social media. That was you. That's right.
Yes,
and you're right.
So Japan, not only vote for Otani, but come on, help out your guy Murakami. Yes. They should have similar votes. You could follow Matt on Twitter. He's at Matt Snyder CBS. You can read his excellent work on all things Major League Baseball. And there's so much that's coming down the pipe with Major League Baseball as we get closer to the trade deadline. Major League Baseball proposing new rules. So you can get his insight. He has the Snyder Soapbox columns, which I always read because they're delightful. Matt, thank you so much for joining the Sox Machine podcast.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching the latest Sox Machine video. Please hit the subscribe button and follow us on social media at Sox Machine and visit our website, soxmachine.com.